Sifu Slim here with a little message and a little song. If I only had a brain, a heart, a home, the knave. Remember that song? The Tin Man, the Cowardly Lion, the Scarecrow. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. And on the way, I am sure if there were fields of poppies, there were probably bees. And what do bees do? Bees make honey. Honey is food for bees, and they make a lot of it. There are people who think that there's going to be a shortage of food, so these bees make a lot. And they historically did it in things like stumps inside of a rock formation where there might have been like a tunnel or a cave, inside of dead stumps, still live trees, all these types of things. They make their hives, right? And so there's the nice wax beehive. It's just beautiful. And you can take this out and you can treat it like chewing gum, like that. And it's an antibiotic, antibacterial. It's amazing, honey. We're going to talk about some of the things honey does for you. Now, there are a lot of people that think in the modern era that honey's not good for you. But let me tell you, we need glucose. Our brains are fired by glucose. Our muscles are fired by glucose. What do you think our body does when it runs out of glucose? If it's not good at converting fat into glucose, we've got a big problem. And we are going to bonk, B-O-N-K, as the ultra marathon runners do, as the triathletes do. Any long endurance type of a thing, or people working in their garden or they're rebuilding their house, they bonk when they run out of glucose or the ability to convert it from fat to sugar. So bees do all kinds of work. And this is a little piece that's come out of the beehive. And this has been several, almost a year's worth of work for these bees to produce this honey right here. And the people who made this honey recently, it took them 2 days of work to do lots of dripping and things like this. There's the bag, the bag with porous material so it can drip down in here. So it took a lot of work to do all this honey making, and then you had to angle it into clean jars so that you could have it here for your future use. So I'm going to talk to you briefly about the notion of honey being good for you or not good for you. So this is something I hear from time to time, and people talk about it on the internet, glucose, sugar, and all of these things. Well, let me tell you what I think. A bear is a big, slow-moving, for the most part, creature who needs a lot of calories, right? And so the bear's job when he's not doing that long sleep, which some people call hibernating, but it's not actually hibernating, it's a deep sleep. Squirrels hibernate. Bears do not hibernate, but because of literature, we think bears hibernate. But anyway, think of that big bear, several hundred pounds, maybe the bigger bears, 700 pounds of stuff. They've got to feed that, those cells, the fat, the protein, and all their vascular system. They've got to feed that with glucose and with fat, right? And so they're using this stuff and they fill up, and that allows them to get through their long winter sleep and the days where they don't have access to food. You've seen the bears up in Alaska hunting for salmon. You've also seen them scooping out honey out of a honeybee's nest, right? Getting all that good honey. So for us, is honey good or not? Well, I'm going to tell you that for someone who's balanced in mind, body, and spirit, and they are fat adapted, and they don't have a problem with insulin resistance, that they can convert sugar and use it the proper way and not just store it in their fat. Honey is wonderful. If you don't have diabetes or pre-diabetes, and you don't have a problem converting fat to sugar or using your sugar, and you're active, right? This honey is very good for you. How good is it for you? I'm going to show you. Allergies, you take some of this, all this stuff, and then bee pollen, wonderful for allergies. This stuff is made of the pollinating plants, the plants that have pollen in your area. So if you're sneezing from things in your area, this can be wonderful for you. So my idea is, if you get balanced in mind, body, and spirit, and you get to being fat adapted, and you get to being healthful and well, then you're not going to have a problem with this. But to prove your point, and to prove the point I'm making, try some of this honey from an organic farm that's local, or if you have enough room, get some boxes and make a place for honeys to live. And then you get some bees and you start that off, right? You need bees and you need the proper hive for them to live in. So give that a shot, and I think you'll enjoy honey as much as I do. Now, a book that I saw probably about 20 years ago, it's a small little book, those easy books that have nice pictures and designs and cartoons. It was called Honey, I Love You. Now, you read that book and see where it takes you. And then also read the science on organically grown honey and see where that takes you. But if you're well in mind, body, and spirit, and you're fat adapted, I think honey is great for you. So check it out, give it a try. I am Sifu Slim, SifuSlim.com. I hope you're well in your mind, body, and spirit. Please like, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you the next time. And I got to get back to this honey. It's so delicious.